And now, what everyone wants to talk about, Shohei Ohtani and everybody else. It's Ohtani up here and everybody else down here.
Basically, Ohtani, rest of the market.
How much money do you think he's getting? Before we say where he goes, how much money do you think he's getting?
Should we say years as well, or
some number that doesn't exist?
I'm gonna say 12 for 420.
No, I think he's getting 600 to 700 million.
Oof, all right. You sure you're sober?
Yeah.
Force a team
That's bankrupt. A bit much. And at that point, just pay him $1 billion.
He's working. Okay, everyone's got to watch the video by Baseball Doesn't Exist. I know Brady saw it.
Well, and I don't know if I saw that video, but I know like the account. I've seen a ton of those videos.
It's probably the best account to like learn the sport of baseball.
Yeah.
Anything regards to beyond just the game itself, it has everything. And he said, no matter whether you could pay Ohtani $3 billion, and he will be worth it from a financial standpoint, because no matter what money you pay him, he's going to make that money back for you between jersey sales, between Japanese broadcasts. There's so many ways to make money off Ohtani, unique to every other player, that despite just his play on the field, he will make you that money back no matter how much you give him. Now, yes, if you sign him, you probably can't sign anybody else. But between his play on the field and the money he'll bring you in the backstand, he's a $70 million player. Even if he doesn't even play the field, even if he's hurt the whole year. Obviously, he's not pitching until 2025. So no one knows if he'll ever pitch properly again. But he's at least a $35 million a year hitter. And I think...
But not 700. Not 700, man. That's a bit much for... I mean, I get it. No one's seen this since Babe Ruth. But, like, I'm not...
Babe Ruth never even pitched and hit at the same time.
Exactly. But I just can't see a team spending that much money completely screwing themselves, not being able to sign anyone else, and thinking that they can win a World Series that same year just because of one guy. Granted, I know Ohtani is a generational talent. He can change a clubhouse like that.
A guy that's also, somewhat hurt, too.
You know he's going to bring fans everywhere he goes.
He may bring fans, but can he continue at this great pace he's been on for another team, continue doing what he's doing, and be able to, make that contract wherever it ends
I think he gets like 10 years, 650. 12 for 420 is not.
I think the amount of years, like double-digit years, I think is going to be correct. It's just I can't see 600-700. I can't. I can see 500 million being feasible, but anything above that, I feel like is like crazy. Like it just for a team standpoint, it doesn't make sense.
Because we're looking at it from a perspective of no player's ever made anywhere near that. But if he pitches and hits, that's $35 million. He's a $35 million a year pitcher and hitter when he's healthy. Now, granted, he's only had one full healthy season where he did both the whole year.
He won MVP that year.
But I would not be surprised if he got well over $600 million. Because when he's healthy for a full year, he's going to bring you much more than that in on-the-field production. And there's so many ways to make money around him. Japan broadcast every game that he was in. When he got hurt, whatever Japanese cable company it was, they cut the deal with the Angels, and the Angels lost that amount of money for the rest of the month.
Gonna just mark that on the calendar over here. 10, what was it, 650 I said?
650 minimum.
10, 650. Mark it right here.
With the Giants. That's my pick.
Giants. All right.
The Giants were willing to give Judge
Arson Judge,
yeah.
They were willing to give Judge and Correa $400 million, who both had injury problems and who they're only one style player. They hit and they play the field. This guy pitches. He will bring broadcasts all over the world.
Yeah, I think the money, that what you're saying, I think
he's worth $250 million more than Judge.
at that rate, the owner might as well just give him all his money and just say,
At this
all right,
point,
may as
have
well
him
just give
run
him
the
the team.
organization. Yeah.
just give it like
Wait,
Caleb
somebody
Williams.
asked, Caleb Williams?
Yeah, for the NFL, he's like, oh, I want to have some
I want
ownership.
1% of the
No,
team.
no,
No one's going to give him that.
no.
Yeah.
He's not even ranked in the top 25 right now.
I think he'll get 12 for 420 with the Giants. I think
He's
he
worth more
signs
than
with San
35
Francisco.
million a year.
I just think that's the logical, not only just the logical, but I think that's going to be the deal.
So you have him going to the Giants too?
Yeah, I think San Francisco's the fit. Although I will say two sneaky teams would be either the Red Sox or the Mariners, but I think he ends up being a Giant.
I want to say don't count out the Yankees yet, but I have no faith.
No, they'd rather trade our future away for Juan Soto for a year as opposed to go for Ohtani. But even then, I don't think Ohtani would want to play here.
Yeah, I agree with you guys on the teams. I think the Giants are one of, if not the kind of top team. You mentioned the Red Sox.
I don't see it. My picks is Giants, Dodgers.
I think probably the West Coast still, like Giants or Dodgers. Unfortunately, that just feels so boring. But
I mean, it's
I
probably
think if he
going to end
does
up
go
being.
I think if he does go to the East Coast, he probably goes to the Yankees.
I mean, I think it ends up being a West Coast team, but we've also seen the Cubs have been very aggressive towards Ohtani. Whether or not that happens, I doubt it. But
yeah, and then for the money, I actually think it's kind of somewhere between the numbers you guys are saying. I think I maybe lean a little bit more towards Anthony's, but I'd say
What's the maximum you think he could get?
500 something.
5'10", 520 maybe. It's probably the max I'd go.
For me, I'd say 600, but I can't see it.
I got 750 as like the max.
It's almost the all-time home run total.
I think there are teams that are valued less than that. I think he. Okay,
That's like half the league.
What do you mean? Nah. You know what? Let me.
Like half the league's payroll.
Yeah, like 3 teams.
The Rays, A's, and like Reds combined is like not even a fraction of what that money will be. And the A's will be moving to Vegas soon, so who cares?
Maybe he'll go to the A's and just say like, all right, I'll just wait until we get to Vegas.
Freaking Vegas A's.
Big star like Ohtani in Vegas and would attract a lot of new fans going into their relocation.
Oh no, every team's worth $1 billion now.
The entire stadium is going to be.
Yeah, Miami's worth exactly $1 billion. They're the lowest valued team. I thought there was about 3 or 4 teams under $1 billion. Because I was going to say, whatever the lowest valued team is, he'll get more than that. But he's not going to get $1 billion.
Market here, he's getting $1 billion.
What happened?
Market right here, he's getting $1 billion.
No, I think he could. I think between 7 and 750 for 10, 11 years.
You have to be a crazy GM to do that.
No, you don't. You really don't.
Without being able to improve your team elsewhere.
But just his war, because he's 2 players in one.
Yeah, no, I get the argument of the 2 players.
It's an entire extra roster spot. Instead of paying 2 guys $35 million, you pay him $70. You have another roster spot for somebody else, and you know he's going to make. Even if he doesn't play, there's so many ways to make that money back. And then the way he plays on the field, if you take just his career WAR or WAR by season divided by how much money he makes per year, it would still be more than every other player's ratio.
Yeah, but then you screw yourself because you not only can improve the rest of your team, but on top of that, if he gets hurt, then those 2 roster spots are also 2 IL spots. Then what do? Then you're sitting like a dead duck. You have no other pieces you've signed.
But if there is any player to take that chance on, it's him.
No,
I don't know.
No.
As I've seen firsthand,
that's a clown question, bro.
No matter how good a player is, you gotta have.
There's always a risk
for others.
No one says there's not a risk.
Every free agent signing, there's always a risk, and I think that's too big of a risk, especially if you want to not only you want to win. You can't just sign, like we've seen it before. You can't just sign one piece and just go, all right, we're done. No, that's what the Yankees do every year, and look where we've gone.
It's more like what the Mets do with Steve
So
Cohen.
what the New York teams have done in general. We sign one guy. All right, we're done. We're World Series caliber, and we end up like 82 and 80 and 77 and 85. Like, no,
You got to address the whole
not only
team.
improve one area, but multiple.
All it takes is one team to take that chance. And we know the Giants are desperate for someone to take their money.
If he gets 10 years for 700, I will leave the show.
Really? Okay, mark that one down.
Oh,
I
Mark that one
I
down.
will leave if he gets 700.
I wonder if Shohei's watching right now. Or the Giants.
He's going to sign. One thing's for sure, and he's already made this clear, is that he's going to sign during the wear meetings. Which wear meetings start Sunday, go through the whole week in Nashville.
You know I think the Padres will offer him like $800 million.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. Those Padres.
What do you got your head on fire?
I don't know about that much money, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Padres just threw.
Well, actually, no, they're in debt.
A lot.
They have no money.
Why do you think they're trading Soto? They can't afford it. They took out a loan at the end of the year just to pay off a contract.
If they did have the money though, they would be a team I'd look at just like, all right, blank check. How much you want?
I mean, the only team that I could really see doing a blank check is the Dodgers.
At this point.
And they talked about getting not only Ohtani, but trading for Trout as well. That would be maybe the only way I could see
The Dodgers would become the new Angels. All of a sudden, the Dodgers wouldn't make the playoffs for like a whole decade.
It's just
The Angels would turn into like a constant playoff caliber team.
Artie Moreno would never be able to show his face in Los Angeles again if he traded Trout to the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah.
two biggest stars that you just had and couldn't win with, then going to the Dodgers and start winning. You become like the new
No, that would be like the Mets trading Alonso to the Yankees. It would never happen.
when the Yankees trading Cole to the Mets. It would never happen.
I mean, that one just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. What's the sense? That's what I'm trying to make. What's the sense?
Why would the Yankees trade Cole at all to anybody?
Can you just let me make the point?
Yeah.
No. If something doesn't sound right to me, I'm going to say.
Point is, you're not trading one of your best franchise players to your rival franchise. It'd be like trading, if we go back in time a little bit, it'd be like trading either A-Rod or Jeter to the Mets.
They almost traded DiMaggio to the Red Sox. You know that story or not?
That I do, yeah.
Well, granted,
They were both drunk.
Yeah,
over,
both, and they both.
and they made it was Joe DiMaggio for Ted Williams, and the deal fell through.
That was a great deal for the Yankees looking back on it. Because Ted Williams had almost another decade after DiMaggio of productive years.
It would have been a great deal, but
that was when DiMaggio was in his prime and Ted Williams was up and coming.
The league vetoed it because they were both drunk.
On a napkin.
Different times, man. Different times. Back then, probably the biggest contract was like $500,000.
DiMaggio was the first player to ever make $100,000.
There you go.
But then contracts went down for a few years. There was like because there was a stretch when it was like Mantle made like I think Mantle was making a few $100,000. And then like Willie Mays was the cap for like $80,000 for a number of years. Then Nolan Ryan got the $1 million like 10 years later. Yamamoto to the Yankees.
I'm going to say a dark horse for him.
8 years, 160 to the Yankees right now. In the next week, Yamamoto to the Yankees, 8 years, 160.
I think I'm smelling some smoke over here. I think he's on fire. I think I'll be honest. As much as I'd like to see him with the Yankees, I think he ends up with the Mariners. Seattle needs a rotation guy. I think Yamamoto fits perfectly in that rotation.
Do they have that money? They probably because they're probably midway.
They have a couple guys off the books now. They've been linked to Snell as well. Blake obviously is from that area, from the Northwest. So
yeah,
I think either Snell or Yamamoto ends up in Seattle.
I don't know if you guys saw the I think it was the Seahawks Niners game on Thanksgiving. Blake Snell got the crowd amped up, and they were saying oh, free agent this year. From the Northwest Seattle area, and they were hinting at him possibly going there, but obviously we don't know.
So he's a Seahawks fan.
I guess, yeah.
He's from Seattle, I would have to think.
Yeah, I could definitely see him going to the Mariners then. I feel like his market's weird because it's like he's had some really good years and some really bad years.
I mean, Aaron Nola set the market with a 7 for 172.
That's different though, because he signed to his old team.
Yeah, I mean, he may have signed to his whole team, but he still set the market in motion.
It's not the same thing.
You don't think so?
Because teams are always willing to give their own guys more money than other teams would give, especially if they made like not a lot of money while they were there. Because Nola earned the Phillies a lot more money. It's more like back pay sometimes. Like Judge, like yes, he probably deserved that contract, and there were other teams that were willing to give it to him. But the reason the Yankees were is because he was owed money from the Yankees for the previous 6 years. But when he was making minimum wage and $2 million and $10 million going into arbitration.
That's true.
But so I think unless you sign with it's tough to say set the market when you sign to your old team. Snell, I think him and Yamamoto are probably very similar because Yamamoto's younger, so he can play longer, but Snell can pitch in the majors. I have no doubt Yamamoto can.
He could pitch in the majors. He could pitch in the World Series. He's been good under pressure.
He's played, he's never played in a huge market, but he's always played on competitive teams. Like the Rays were good when he was there.
He knows how to win.
Yeah.
Point is, he knows how.
And like again, Seattle's like it's that same kind of thing, a mid-major market that he's always played in. So I don't think he would go to the Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Dodgers, Giants. I think that kind of Mariners fit would be good for him. How old is he now? He's got to be at least 30.
He's like 30, 31, I believe.
When was the last time he's pitched obviously he just won Cy Young, but like when was the last time that from beginning to end he was the guy?
2018.
Yes, he hasn't had. Yeah, well, no, he did have 32 starts last year.
He's been about average, like maybe not average, maybe a little above average.
Yeah, he's never been really bad, but he's only had a couple of really good years.
Yeah, he's 30.
30?
Yeah.
Turns 31 next week. So he's 31.
Basically,
he's 30. He's 31. He's signing his age
31 going into the season.
Maybe.
By the way, in 2018,
I say 6 years, 170.
I think like maybe 6 years
around there, yeah.
Okay. So we agree on this one.
Yeah, I think it just for a Mariner standpoint and for him it makes too much sense. And also with 2018 as well, Snell went 20-5 with a 197.
Yeah, it's 5 years ago though.
No, yeah, it's 5 years ago, but it's still good though. That was back when wins still mattered.
Well.
Now they really don't win Cy Young.
No, that 2018, that was the year DeGrom won Cy Young with like 9 wins. Well, Felix Hernandez was really the first guy to make wins irrelevant because it was like 2011, 2012 when he won Cy Young. Like he went like 12-12 when the Mariners were terrible. He was that first guy to really win Cy Young with no wins.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna say probably like 170 is probably good for Snell.
What about you?
I'd say around 5 or 6 for kind of the mid one something like 160, 170.
So we're all on agreement on this one.
I'm like right around.
I just think it makes too much sense. I mean, it's the puzzle piece, if you will.
The thing is, I feel like Yamamoto signs with anyone but the Yankees would try to overspend for Snell. Like I wouldn't want to give him 10 years.
I think if you're looking at Yamamoto, it's probably about maybe 8 or 9 years, probably 250.
I think 250 is too much for never throwing a pitch in the major leagues.
It might be, but the kid's gonna have longevity. He's got the stuff from what we've seen in videos.
I'd probably rather overspend on Snell than overspend on him.
He's pitched to major league hitters before, granted some quote unquote because of WBC, but still. But I think if he ends up with the team, it's probably going to be 8 or 9.
I'd rather spend $750 for Ohtani than $250 for Yamamoto.
Oh boy!
He had 2 MVPs. He's pitched and hit at the highest level for 5 years, better than almost anybody else. I think he's worth 3 times more than Yamamoto for a guy who's never pitched in the major leagues once. I don't think that's a ridiculous take to say he's worth 3 times more than Yamamoto.
Oh,
You think Ohtani is worth less than twice the amount of Yamamoto?
What are you, Ben Verlander?
There's no way Ohtani is not worth at least double Yamamoto. I refuse to believe that. He is worth at least double Yamamoto, minimum.
So fine, 12 years, 500. Doubling 250 is 500. Not 750.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me why you give Yamamoto this much credit but Ohtani this much. It should really be a wider gap. Because he's done it for 5 years, both at the highest level, better than anyone else.
I'm paying the guy $700 million.
There's nothing Yamamoto is going to bring that we've never seen before. I think he'll be great. But Ohtani is someone that will probably, an Ohtani-level player is never going to happen again.
I know what you're saying. I just don't feel like the teams will exactly see it that way.
All it takes is one team. He just has to convince one team, look, I will make you billions and billions over the next 10 years.
That team's got to be drunk. I get it. Generational talent, guy that we're never going to see again, but I'm not willing to pay that much, especially if I need to improve my team in our areas.
But he is both areas. He's all the areas.
That's great. You sign a guy who can be a starter and your big
he
bat.
Runs, he hits,
can
he has contact.
Can he pitch in the bullpen? Can he close games?
He's hurt.
He did close a game.
WBC is one thing.
You brought it up as a point. I'm gonna bring it up.
Well, yeah, I'm saying that's one thing. Like
you said, he's pitched to major league hitters. He's closed the biggest game in that series.
He's pitched against major league hitters, but in terms of actually facing guys, we don't know what we're gonna get out of him.
That's what the point I'm saying.
Ohtani, though, he's already proven, but you need.
That's what I'm saying. You don't know what you're going to get out of Yamamoto. You know what you can get out of Ohtani, and you know what he's going to bring.
That's if he can even, if he comes back in 2025 and he pitches like how he has been.
Yeah.
That's the biggest question mark of all, because right now you're basically signing Ohtani
just for half, yeah.
Yeah, right now you're not signing the $70 million guy.
Okay, that's fair. Okay,
you're signing the $35
It took us 20 minutes.
That's what I was trying to get at, though.
Okay, I mean,
me.
But you think, say hypothetically he never got hurt in September and he was ready to be an ace and a 3 spot in the lineup today. Do you think he'd be worth $70 million a year?
If he didn't get hurt and bring down his value, I think we're looking at maybe 12 for 600.
Okay,
I'll be realistic.
I'd say.
Okay, that's okay. Now hear this out. Okay, so because he can be that, because we've obviously him being hurt affects that, but all it takes is one team to say he has a chance to be that. I think when he first got hurt, I said he probably did just cost himself $500 million. But I think there will be a team that will say, okay, he can bring up these numbers. We're never going to have a chance to have a guy like this again. So let's get him now. When he will be a great hitter for us next year, and then maybe will be a great pitcher and hitter again, because everyone's going to want to see it in 25 if he doesn't pitch well next year. And the fact that he would have been a $607 million guy 4 months ago, I don't think all 30 teams would say he is not anymore. I think most teams probably say no. But I think the Giants are a team that have been aggressive every year. They want to be, and I could see them giving it to him.
If he did go 12 for 600, he'd be making $50 million a year, just out of math. But when he got injured, he cost himself at least $200 million. I'll be honest, because again, you're now just for 1 year, you're guaranteed that you're just signing him as a hitter. But you don't know what you're getting as a pitcher. Had he not gotten hurt, then it would make more sense to be, 550, 600 type range where you're signing not only a all-star caliber hitter and MVP caliber hitter, but MVP caliber pitcher and Cy Young Award winner as well. That's
what I'm saying. All he has to do is convince one team that that's still possible.
it's going to be hard to convince them, to say the least.
I really don't think it will be.
Only time will tell.
Okay, so
Only time will tell. Yep.
final picks I got Ohtani to the Giants, 10 years for $700. Yamamoto, 8 years, $160 to the Yankees, and Blake Snell, 6 years, $170 to the Mariners. And Bellinger, I'll go 4 years, 1/3, 4 years, 135. I think he goes back to the Cubs.
I'm going to say 10 years, 420 to the Giants for Ohtani. The 6 years, 170 to the Mariners for Blake Snell. I'm going to say 9 years, 240 to the Dodgers for Yamamoto. And then 5 years, maybe about 135 for the Yankees for Bellinger.
Ohtani, I'm going to say Giants as well. I'm going to say 11 years for 550. Snell, I'm going to say 5 years for what'd you guys say? Because
I said 170.
6 for
I
170.
was
Yeah,
going to say like not too much.
Wait, did we say the same thing?
yeah we
Sit-
did.
I was going to say like 5 years for 150 probably.
Still a fair deal.
Yamamoto.
To who?
Oh, Snell to the Mariners.
Okay.
Yamamoto, I'm going to say 8 years, 270.
I can't see giving him this much money.
Let the man finish.
I'm just trying to. It's so tough when these guys come over from like Japan. What team they're going to sign with? Why not? To the Mets.
I could see it.
It's a real possibility.
I think Steve Cohen would be the only one who might give him that much money.
And then, Bellinger.
Bellinger, yeah, Cody.
Bellinger, I'm going to say 3 years, 140 to.
No, 3 years, 140.
3 years, 140 is
That's $47 million a year.
that's a lot.
3 years, 140 for Bellinger.
5 years, 140 makes sense.
I think I said 140.
Oh, yeah.
You were 130, I think.
130. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 140, I think, something like that, or 135.
I'll say 140.
To who?
To the. I think it's going to be some random team. I'm going to say like Toronto.
I think I could see it.
Yeah, I could actually see that.
I think he resolved his career though in Chicago after falling off with LA, and I think he has unfinished business there. I think he tries to win the Cubs a World Series, then he goes wherever he wants after. I guess give him probably 4 years to try to win it there, and then at that point he'll be at the back end of his career. He can have fun wherever he wants. If he's still productive, pinch hitter, DH type player. But I think for now he's going to be. This is like his last stretch to really try to do something, and I think the Cubs are going to be the team that because without Bellinger, the Cubs are nowhere near the playoffs. So I think the Cubs want him back, and I think he has unfinished business there.
Also, make a prediction that either Bellinger or Ohtani's contract will have an opt-out within the first couple of years. I think more so for Ohtani. I think at least after 2 years for Ohtani's contract, there's going to be an opt-out.
Player or team?
A player opt-out.
Okay. Yeah.
So that way, after he, if he can prove that he can pitch in 2025, he can opt out and try to get more.
That would be the only way I think he takes anything less than 6. I think if a team's willing to give him 700, no opt out, and I think that'd be something you would take. But I think if
it's that high of a dollar amount, there's gonna be like a full no trade.
Yeah.
But if it's 400, 450, something like
then
that,
I could see him taking. Yes. Okay. Now that deal I think would make sense.
10 years, 420 with an opt out after their second year.
Okay. That's a deal I can see. And that okay.
Mark that in the calendar.
we finally have some middle ground here. Because I'm saying there's no way Ohtani doesn't take that much unless there's something in it for him.
I feel like there would be an opt out in his contract regardless. So I felt, not saying that I was trying to imply that the entire time we're fighting or arguing, however you want to say it, but I felt like that was it. It's a no brainer. I feel like